It just looks like you're in a costume, but like it doesn't look bad on you.
No?
It doesn't look like my I almost said Harvey Keitel. Tommy Wiseau.
Keitel.
My Tommy Wiseau wig.
Oh, yeah.
It looks nice.
I like your wig.
Thanks.
I like that we're 2 different shades of red today.
Different shades of red.
Oh, my God.
It's really hard to find wigs that don't have roots on them because I think it's trendy right now, and also I think it's supposed to like signify that
it's real.
It looks like real hair, but it's like,
but then
they
you
don't
should
dye
get your hair done.
They don't dye hair in fucking Prithian, do they?
No, they don't. I was thinking about this earlier because I had my glasses on, and I was like, I guess they don't need glasses either.
Maybe they do it for style.
I totally would. You know, a friend of ours told me that their baby's going to have to start wearing glasses, and there's nothing I love more than babies and glasses.
It's pretty fucking
adorable.
adorable.
And I looked at Jeff, was like, if we ever squirt one out, I think I'm just gonna get play glasses for the baby.
Or you could just, make like squirt lemon juice in their eyes so they have to get glasses.
Yeah, claw their eyes out. Yeah. Go,
Yeah.
oh, God! Is he mother bird?
Yes, mother bird.
But I will not chew up the food and spit it in their mouths.
I would love if
like
you
Cher.
did that. Yeah.
Not Cher Horowitz, not Alicia Silverstone is her real name.
Yeah, that was a long explanation.
It was long. Who's ready to talk? Is it this math right here?
Math?
This math.
Oh, mouth. No, I guess not. Apparently not.
Apparently not. I don't mean to ask you this. Maybe I shouldn't ask you this, but who are you dressed up as?
Gwyneth.
Ooh.
So, okay, my issue is I always see the priestess robes as gray, even though they're very distinctly listed as pale blue.
Yes.
I don't know why. I'm going to try several different priestess fits over the series, and then we can kind of gauge on. This is not like accurate, but like it's a gray priestess robe.
I would say it's almost a gray blue.
I'm
giving you
wrong.
the benefit of the doubt.
I'm incorrect. I don't know why I see it like that in my head when it clearly says pale blue.
I told you, I see Cassian as a dirty blonde.
Yeah.
There's just some things you just can't undo from your original reading of the book that just like live inside of your brain.
Even if it's wrong.
Even if it's wrong. And then it just lives there. Honestly, it's one of the reasons why, although I will always watch a televised version, and obviously I'm going to watch it whenever the ACOTAR version comes out, but sometimes it ruins what's inside of my head.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do feel bad. I feel very, very bad for whatever actors are cast in this because people are going to be horrible.
Horrible to them.
Fandoms are gross a lot of the time. And I will not do that. I will love and support anybody who goes in. I'm not going to shit on them.
No, I'm going to shit on them.
No, don't.
No, I will even say, as someone I've said this many times about Les Mis. Les Mis, my favorite musical of all time. Went to go see the movie, was at first very, very, very upset at the casting of Russell Crowe as Javert. And not because, and like Russell Crowe did the best job he could.
Whatever.
And I was like, you know what? I shouldn't be mad at Russell Crowe. He got the job. I should be more like my secret ire. It's not like I'm writing comments.
Right.
It's my secret ire goes towards the casting of him where it's like, he can't sing what Javert needs to be. And I know this isn't a Les Mis podcast, but I'll talk about Les Mis.
Yeah. No, I think you should be allowed to because I had a bad experience with him on set before and I don't like him.
We hate Russell Crowe.
Yeah, I just threw what is it? Tea? I threw sauce into the air.
Yeah, and it's all over us. Now we're covered in sauce and
Russell's gonna start a flame war with me. But I'm ready for it. Bring it on. That's the one person I want to get into an internet fight with. Yeah.
He doesn't know how to use social media.
He also would have absolutely no recollection of interacting with me on set, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
Because it was terrible.
Yeah, and you're bad.
Yeah.
And you were bad at being Javert. I said it.
But beyond that, now with like every superhero franchise, every person who gets cast, people are furious. They like put change.org petitions up for people. They get doxxed. They get death threats. It's like, you need to go outside.
way too
You have to
far.
go outside and remember that that you don't just control everybody and like you're not a little puppeteer on the internet. I'm talking to you and me. I'm talking to everybody. We can't.
Oh, that's why secret ire is fine.
Secret ire's fine, and also criticism's fine. But I think that we've like passed beyond the pale with that with a lot of things. Be nice to whoever gets cast, please, even if they don't make your loins aflame. Even then,
They better make my loins aflame.
I'm gonna say at least one of the cast members will do that. You know what I mean? Like maybe not everyone will be your choice, but at least one of them you're gonna be like,
Well, I know
whoa.
they've been throwing around Jacob Elordi for, I think if it was for Reese, and I want to see how Priscilla is first, personally. Into it? I see that face. Not into it, but you don't watch Euphoria.
No.
And he's great in Euphoria, but you have a lot of issues with him in Euphoria.
Oh, see, I don't want to know about it then.
I know. And he's a great actor, though. So that's why I think that he would do a great job.
Unfortunately, if you're a good enough actor.
He's 6'5"?
Yes, he's 6'5".
Oh, my God. Boongo, boongo.
Okay, is he old enough for us to do? Okay, he's getting closer to 30. Okay, I don't feel that weird about it.
He's 26. It's fine.
I said closer to 30 to make myself feel.
To make yourself feel it's fine. It's fine. My cutoff's 24.
I thought it said January. Okay, so he just kind of turned 20. All right, well, yeah, 24. He's sure,
but he's Australian. Does that help?
No comments. No comments.
All right, we're fine with it. We're fine with this. But again, if you are a Euphoria fan, I understand feeling like a little like, no.
Yeah, but please don't go and just attack them online. It's like, don't, please. Let's just be grown-ups a little bit. I know we all feel very passionate.
I won't grow up. I won't grow up. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school.
Are we doing Peter Pan right now? We gonna go into the 1970s version of Peter Pan?
Hell yeah, man. Man, I'd be so bad at being flown.
Never grow up, not me.
Ugh.
You started it.
I did start it. Have you ever flown? Have you ever been
Of course.
strapped? I mean, but like, have you done like the actual like wires like a Peter Pan, like where it's from your groin?
Yeah.
Doesn't it scare you?
No. I like it, but it does hurt after a while. Like it is
Hurts
painful.
your crotch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want wires going in my crotch.
I had to run through the sky for a Hoka 1 ad once in the air.
Whoa.
Yeah. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the book. Sorry, everybody. I know this is a long-winded intro, but sometimes we haven't spoken beforehand.
And I haven't opened my many drinks yet. I need to open up all my many drinks. There's no reason for us. We both have 3 beverages.
That's how we live.
I am a beverage monster.
Oh, I am as well. Yep. I constantly have 3 or 4 different drinks. All right, so let's do this. Let's do it. Cassian is standing. Oh, also, I was going to mention before it started, we will be back now that your tour's done. We're going to be back to being pretty accurate on the chapter readings I give you. I had to sort of guesstimate, and also we can't make the episodes 3 hours long, unfortunately. So I've only gone further. I've never spoken further on the episode than I've told you to read. So now we're going to catch up, be pretty on top of it. Now again, just so we're all clear. So some of you may have already read up to chapter 15. Read it again. It's fun.
I'm reading it again. It's wonderful. Yeah. Join me, won't you?
So, Cassian.
Especially this book. This book you can fucking read.
Read it. I've now read it like maybe 15 times for this podcast, and I still enjoy it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Cassian is standing in front of the lodging of the band of exiles at the start of chapter 7. It's full nighttime now because, of course, if you recall, there's a bird woman in the band of exiles who only could be human for the nighttime. So,
oh man, yeah, Battlebird.
So I assume that's why he has to go at night. And he notes that while the gray stone house is in good condition, he's standing in front. And if you remember, it's again near Feyre's old village. This is like the human realm.
Yeah.
Everything around the house is completely ravaged by the war. It's everything's exploded and rubble and everything, but the house is standing. And he notes it's going to be a long while before it looks like peaceful here again because you just see the scars of everything. He hesitates before going in, not thrilled at this task and still a bit shaken by Nesta's apparent disregard for how she made him look in Windhaven because she refused to train in front of all the Illyrians, and it was very embarrassing for him.
And now he's all ruffled. We ruffled his feathers.
There's very ruffled a lot in this book.
Oh, yes.
Constantly ruffled.
Oh, yes. Shush.
Oh, are both of our drinks?
My sparkling water is going. Both
of our
I'm just like, I'm
sparkling
trying
waters.
to focus, Waterloo.
They have thoughts. Probably. They have
What do you
commentary.
think? Oh, wait. Peach? Peach, what do you think? Peach loves Cassian. Oh, yeah, Peach. What, you also think he's dirty blonde? All right, Peach.
Oh my God, Peach. That is disgusting. He is a male. He's not a piece of meat.
Yeah, Peach, I can. And I ain't talking about my ass.
You should high can your can with your can.
Yeah, I guess we could have cheersed.
No, I mean with your butt.
Oh, yeah. But then I'm going to get peach all over my peach.
Okay.
Ugh. Ugh.
That's
Man,
why
I have been yucking myself out recently. I'm sorry to everybody.
You're just in one of those vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a vibe.
You said to me in the weirdest voice that you were going to take a pee before we did.
Yeah,
started.
I forgot how I said it, but I was being very creepy about it, and there was no reason for it. It's this
Uncalled
wig.
for.
I blame the
Oh
wig.
yeah, maybe it is the wig doing this.
I think it's because I didn't realize how junked up this wig was, so I tried to bobby pin it.
I think the color's pretty on you.
The
I like
color's
it.
pretty, yes. I'm supposed to be Vasa, by the way.
Oh, Firebird.
Yeah, I'm Firebird, but human Firebird, not Battlebird.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
So,
Also, I'm wearing Battlebird to see the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie on Saturday.
I just short
You
circuited.
just throw up in your mouth?
I went away somewhere.
Yeah, but Holden and I are going at 3:30 in the afternoon.
I hate it. Hate it.
We're going to be with a bunch of 11-year-olds.
Yes, you are. At least Holden's not going by himself.
No,
because
no.
that would be a whole nother thing. We as the reader
Also,
know.
Holden, my co-host of Page 7, in case you were wondering. Big Swifties, big Swiftie.
All right, let's get back here. So we learn after, so he's standing in front of this house, and we learn in his thoughts that after he dropped Nesta back at the House of Wind, he'd flown to an empty cliff where it must have been love played an ambient sound as the waves crashed while he sat on the shore.
Love, but it's over now.
Like he's just throwing a rock over the cliffside.
Oh, yeah.
Must have been her, but I lost it somehow.
Oh, my God. And his hair is blowing in the wind.
Oh man! And then he does all that, gets that out of his system. Then he hops down to the river house to reveal to the rest of the inner circle that he's blown it with Nesta. And here we get this lovely expression.
It was Amren who had said,
"Let her dig her own grave, boy, then offer her a hand." I'd thought that's what this past year had been.
He'd countered.
Keep reaching out your hand.
Had been Amren's only reply.
I love that phrase, keep reaching out your hand. It keeps being repeated throughout the book. It's such a simple and succinct phrase that says a lot in it. And I think a lot of us have felt like giving up with somebody but don't really want to. So it's this sort of symbol of like resignation and hope at the same time. I can't fix you, but like I'm
here for you.
You have to reach though. I can't pull you out of this like hole. You have to lift me. You have to come meet me halfway.
Also, I like that because it's not giving her a hand, because that would be going over and doing it for her. But you're right. It is like the meeting in the middle of like, nah, you got to come to me a little bit too, or else this ain't going to work out, which also is healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries.
So thank you, Amren. Healthy boundaries.
Yeah, I guess that's where you get healthy boundaries from, is the biblical angel in this book.
Not no more, no. Now she's just a mere
Oh, yeah, now she's just the old rig.
Yeah.
Yep. So now he's in this present moment facing this strange house in the middle of ruin, a place he doesn't want to be, but he's doing so for his brother. Before he can knock, Lucian swings the door open because of his X-ray eye, I assume.
Ooh.
Before Cassian...
Looking through his clothes, too, I bet.
Yeah, I imagine.
I'm
you know?
sure.
Before Cassian can say much, Lucien tells him Eris is also here. Uh-oh. Cass feels rage race through him as he recalls Moore's broken body, but reins it in to do his job. He kind of like to review that little moment in just like she does a good job in this book of like bringing you back into the memories of different things, but we know about more. So he thinks about how little his opinion of Eris has changed, even if he trusts him or even if he's kept to his promise to all of the rest of the inner circle to not reveal things to his trash father. Cassian urges himself to think like Rhys or Moore and be calm on the outside when he wants to smash.
But it's so hard for him to not smash.
I know. It's really difficult.
That's like hundreds of years of having to undo and like start to be like an ambassador. That's a difficult shift to go from Illyrian warrior all the time into ambassador.
It's true, but he still has to know how to smash because he still has to be in the wars.
Yeah. He's got to know how to smash.
He might know how to smash.
I think he does.
I think he might know.
Or maybe I'm just looking into the future. I have no idea.
Who can tell? Who can guess? So now he enters this parlor, and Eris, Lucien, Vassa, and Jurian are all staring at him. Cassian's getting a headache trying to assess all of the relationships here and how he's supposed to handle them, what info he's to relay, and what he's meant to observe. It's hard. It is hard. It is actually hard.
I don't think I could be an ambassador of sorts. It's like keeping certain things hidden and only being but manipulating at the same time and like easing their fears at the same time and also not sharing too much but not sharing too little. I don't know if you get this from me, but like I'm a bit of an open book.
Yeah.
I know that's crazy of all the very private things I've said on this podcast so far, but I just feel like I would go in and be like, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
I think in this realm, you kind of have to be manipulative a little bit. Even if you're not that in your private life, you have to know how to be manipulative in these situations. And it's hard to do that and like put on these facades and everything. He calls Vassa Your Majesty in this moment, and Jurian kind of laughs at him about it. So he's already like bumbling it a little bit. It's pretty clear that like Lucien has mentioned they've all gotten pretty chummy in this house. How chummy? We don't know.
Oh, I think they're chummy. I think they're covered in fish paste.
Covered in chum.
Yeah, that's how much chummy they've gotten. They got their buckets out. That's how chummy they've gotten.
I would. Somebody's kissing somebody in there.
Yeah. I mean, Lucien, he's got to be healing his wounds some way, some kind of salve.
You know, he's got some lustful emissions to get out of.
God, I can't wait to read about lustful emissions from Lucien.
Yeah, we'll get there, I bet. Lucien wants to know if Cassian has come with news for them or some kind of order from Rhys. Cassian tries to put on his best courtier affectation. We give you orders as our emissary.
He nodded to Jurian and Vassa.
But when you're with friends, we only give suggestions.
Oh,
he's trying.
Cute.
He's really trying. Eris makes a rude noise, obviously mocking him.
Of course you're going to, Eris.
After a bit more fumbling, he just asks Eris straight, why are you here in this house, man? What's going on? I do wonder if Eris maybe, like, I'm just speculating, I'm throwing it out there, that Eris kind of also feels like a reject and he kind of just wants to like hang out with the Band of Exiles.
Yeah, of course. Boy don't have no friends.
No.
Because you're a bastard, but he also has to play the play of a bastard at all times, even though he really is a bastard. Not a bastard the way Cassian is a bastard, but you know what I mean. Like in a badman's way. And so he has to act like a badman all the time, which is not going to get you a lot of friends. You know he's not friends with his brothers. No. So like who does he talk to? So of course he wants to be friends. Like look at their like friend family that all protects each other. I want to be a part of the Band of Exiles.
Maybe he wants to join second guitar, or like wants to come in and like, I can play the keyboard.
Oh, that would be awesome. Him on the synth.
Oh, yeah, synth.
And they'd be like,
for
oh,
sure.
we don't really need any synth.
Like-
And he's like, are you sure? And he's like, and then they're like, yeah. And then everyone starts like clapping. And they're like, let's get on the road. And then they start going on the road.
Yeah. I love this trajectory for Eris.
Get the synth out. Do they have a synth there?
They probably have some other magical thing that sounds like a synth. Where you just
That's true. With magic, you can do whatever
cling
you want.
and clang on something.
Yeah.
You know?
Ha-ee-ya-ee-ya. Like a synth sounds. Man, we are mouth instruments over here.
Yeah, I can use it as an instrument sometimes.
Everything I say
14
sounds
years
creepy.
old.
Everything you say sounds dirty today.
I guess I'm in a vibe also.
Hell yeah, we're in vibes today, y'all. Post up.
I don't think, though, Eris has the balls to ask to play synth yet. I think he wants to make sure everybody thinks that he's just, and he probably does need to also do court business and all that, but I think he's excited he has to, even though he can't tell anybody. Nobody will talk about their feelings in this book.
No, it really is. But isn't it nice to be able to read that and be like, I don't want to be like that in my regular life. I'd like to talk about my feelings.
Yeah. And then you get fucked afterwards.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So Eris tells him, this is why I'm here. A few dozen of the Autumn Court soldiers were out on a standard patrol when they disappeared, and they can't find any trace of where they've gone. Not a good sign.
No, dude.
Even the Autumn Court's revered scenting hounds couldn't find anything with where they went. Cassian knows that's a big deal because those hounds are sought after for their capabilities. He continues on.
Does that mean the dogs are magic?
Yeah, I think that they are. I think that they said that they were like smoke hounds or something. I forget.
What do you think? What kind of magic does Wendy do?
Brings joy.
That's what she does. I feel like if she had anything, she would be able to magic a pillow underneath her.
Oh, very self-serving.
Yes.
for
Oh, yeah.
sure.
No, she wouldn't be helping anybody
No.
with her dog powers.
Her dog powers do help me though, because she loves to cuddle, and that is something I need.
Yes.
So
Thank
win-win.
you, Wendy.
Win-win. Thanks, Wendy.
Wendy.
Wendy. So Cassian knows. He continues on that none of the Autumn Court soldiers can winnow either, so it's not that. And he takes the opportunity to mock their breeding while looking at Cassian.
Thanks, Eris. We really need this right now.
And also, for Jesus H, they love to talk about their lineage. It's very, it's very reminiscent of an idea of your bloodline is, you know who talks about having clean bloodlines, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Eris is just kind of doing that to fuck with Cassian. I don't know if he even actually believes that sort of thing, but he wants to
he's so used to making the same jabs where it's when you have someone in that that always says the same weird where it's you're thinking of a very specific version of me, and I contain multitudes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and also the pure blood stuff usually involves a lot of incest and inbreeding, and then all of the offspring have 4 eyes and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
and then they're making kiss on each other. I saw Game of Thrones.
Well, they're not an accurate portrayal of what incest children end up sometimes.
No, they're not usually that pretty, I don't
No. I mean, some I'm sure are, but
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much because Henry and I don't touch each other, so I never really had to explore.
Ugh.
At least I would have researched first.
God.
Aren't you proud of me?
No.
The scientist of this family?
No, God.
Everybody calls me that.
You are the scientist of the family for sure. Also, I kind of tend to think if that's all you've got is your lineage is your thing, and you're pretty unremarkable as a person.
Yeah.
Vasta continues that she went to the site in the Autumn Court to inspect as the hounds were looking around because the only thing they did detect was a strange human scent. It was human, but something different, a little spicy. Cassian then accidentally says, "What? No way. Humans could have never bested Fays," and then realize he's talking to 2 humans.
Oh, Cass!
Insert foot in mouth much, Cassian?
Cass. Cassian grimaced.
Sorry. Sorry.
Oh.
After some more bickering, Cassian has to decide whether asking Vasa about the other queens would be revealing too much about their own vulnerabilities.
Fuck. His head hurt.
Finally, he asked about the sister queens. He's decided, I gotta bring it up. All of the cohorts agree that they aren't above this kind of behavior and that they are, in fact, still looking for trouble. Nothing but trouble. But they're not dumb.
They're not looking for that movie, though.
No. But they're not dumb. And leaving a trace of human in the autumn courts doesn't make a ton of sense because they would have been able to cover their tracks more because they are so, like, manipulative.
Yeah.
So they're trying to all figure this out. This is a very strategic chapter. Parts of things like shows and movies and books that I usually like zone out on, and I had to reread this chapter like 6 times because it's just all strategy stuff. I know some people love that part of storytelling.
And I'm here for the make fucks.
I love the action. I love the fucks. I love the human striving for...
Maybe they could be talking about this while they're all kissing or while they're all like gliding underneath tables.
I could probably pay attention more if they were.
Yeah.
But so, they're basically saying this could be the queens. But there's also these other things like, why would they cross all the way over to the spring court when Tamlin's remaining soldiers are more vulnerable and easy to attack? And they're not really coming up with why they would do that. But Cassian's thought snags on how Rhys managed to not kill Tamlin for hurting Feyre in this, as they're talking about the spring court. And then, suddenly he's thinking about Nesta. How he knew that Nesta had been hurt by a man in her previous life through some of their conversations, especially that happened in the bonus chapter. Mm-hmm. But she wouldn't give the man's name over to Cassian. Cassian then starts fantasizing about peeling this man's skin off of his bones.
You gotta pay attention, Cassian!
And then he's not paying attention. He curses himself. This is how I would be in a strategy meeting. Strategy. A strategy meeting.
Well, it would be a tragedy, so it would be a strategy.
It would be a strategy for me, yes. So he curses himself for thinking of fighting again, and he's smashing instead of he has to be playing a Game of Thrones right now. The group goes over scenarios in which it would make sense to attack the Autumn Court and lands on perhaps they're trying to sow discords. They're trying to start inner fighting to break the treaties on Prythian and weaken the defense. Cassian decides to throw caution to the wind, and he asks Vasa which queen he thought would act this outrageously.
And Vasa licked her lips at him and said, "Oh boy, you want some information from me?"
See, this helps. This helps me pay more attention.
I'm trying. Well, we don't know Vasa's like inner monologue, so maybe that's what she's thinking. Like maybe she's just going like in her head, just going like
I love the shrug on you, by the way. It's a very cute look.
Thanks. Yeah. Bring shrugs back. I think shrugs are coming back.
I mean, I have bought a couple.
Yeah, and it's got this little, I had to try and get the little thing and the thing up top here, but I will say shrugs, you forget how difficult they are to put on. You like put one sleeve in and then like put the other one and go like.
Shrug, more like struggle.
Yes.
Such an earnest response.
Yes. It was a struggle.
Okay, here we go. And it's what Cassian, fears the most. Vasa thinks it is. No, Cassian thinks it is Brialyn. She says it without hesitation. Brialyn, the selfish, impulsive young queen who jumped into the cauldron after Nesta was forced in and came out immortal but a hunched old crone.
Ew, we hate old ladies.
We do, but I have to be honest, I would be so mad. I'd be
That's
so
what
mad.
Gets.
Mostly because
also, we don't hate old ladies. Old ladies teach us a lot.
No, of course. And I'm not even afraid to be an old lady. It's just that in the way that they suggest that she is, her body's withered and she can't move and do stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what that would be my worst. If a living eternity not being able to do what I can
need to do.
So, I'd be mad. But she's blaming Nesta instead of her own.
Why is she blaming that? Why? So the person that was forced into the cauldron before you're going to blame her instead?
Some people just can't take accountability for their actions.
God, you did this to yourself.
Not that I've never not been able to take accountability for my actions.
We're always accountable.
I'm so accountable. I'm like the most accountable person that's ever been.
Yeah. Honestly, you are.
Well, thank you. I'm definitely not always, but
secrets.
I mean, just in like I like to think in small ways.
Yeah.
Hopefully not big things.
I don't think so. I think that like we spend so much time together, I'd probably find out at this point that you weren't married to Henry. That this was a lie the whole time.
For what?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Maybe it was to get to me.
Yeah, it was to get to
so that we could become besties.
Yeah, I must podcast with her. No, I am very glad that we are.
Not for Henry, but for me.
Yeah.
I knew it all along.
Yeah. It's the decades-long grift. So...
If Briallen made a move against Nesta, he'd kill the queen himself. Cassian tried to think over the bellowing beast in his head that tightened every muscle of his body until only bloody violence would appease it.
Easy,
Lucian said.
Smash! Easy,
Lucian repeated. And flames sizzled in his russet eye, and then they started to kiss.
I know, it does sound very
It does sound
sensual.
Flames sizzled in his russet eye, yes! He's snarling, and he's going easy. Oh, if only. Man, if I was better at slash fiction, because I used to write this for Riverdale scenes, I used to like add on to a scene and like what if they started fucking instead. Like one scene I specifically wrote over they called them Glamourget eggs instead of Fabergé eggs, and it involved a Glamourget egg, and I just wish I was better at like adding on to scenes like this where we could just pop in a fuck scene between Lucian and Cassian.
Yeah, I've never tried to write erotica ever. I don't know if I'd be good at it. I think it's actually really hard.
It's very difficult.
And I have some of the fanfic I've read obviously there's lots that's just very filthy, but I've read some really good ones too. Like very like taking the characters into a new direction, but like very also erotic.
Also, please share some of your favorite slash fic of ACOTAR if you have any that are like actually good that you think that we should read, or like I'll definitely read them because you know I love reading smut, so please pass them along.
Oh yeah, I should go find the ones that I've read that I really liked and I'll give them a shout.
Yes.
So I just love that the Cassian's constantly on the edge of just like shredding a shirt.
I know it's like not what you should be attracted to. Like it's the opposite of someone that like can't really control their emotions.
Well, I would
It's
say
so fucking hot.
I would say with Cassian though,
only because it's about her. Like if it was about everything, it would be boring.
well, yeah, and I would say Cassian actually can control his emotions. I don't like when somebody just like loses their mind over shit and Luke can't actually control themselves, because that is very unattractive.
Very unattractive.
But he feels the urge and the need to protect, but he can rein it in and like still use his rational mind in those moments. So I think that's very sexy.
yeah, I think so too.
Cassian laments being so reactive and wearing his heart on his sleeve like this, because basically what he's exposed in that moment is like how much he wants to protect Nesta, and they're all staring at him.
Yes.
So it can be used as ammunition. And so he is embarrassed, but it's also realizing that he's putting her at risk because he's now exposing how much he cares for her to people who maybe he can't trust.
Right.
So there is still doubt about Briallen knowing how to pull all of this off. She can only winnow when the other queens are around, because that's their gifted powers combining to Captain Planet style. They can only get places winnowing if there's more than one.
It's gotta be so annoying. Like even thinking about Captain Planet, where you're like, I've got this ring, I got this awesome monkey, but like I can't do anything if I don't have my friends. And I know it should be like, that's because you work with your friends. But sometimes don't you want to be powerful all on your own?
Also, sometimes, what if Wind is like really on your nerves?
Yeah,
I
and then
don't
you
really
gotta
want to
go
talk to them right now, but you have to like,
Yes, fine. That or like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when they all become like the one big robot. Then like, I don't want to become part of your animal robot today. I don't want.
Yeah, Blue Ranger's fucking balls are right behind my back every time that we do this.
Yeah,
and
they
I don't
all
really
are
deal
just
with it right
stepped
now.
on, right? They all just.
I forget how they all connected. It was just like,
Yeah, it was all different ways. But I mean, in my head, the humans on the inside are all like,
Just
like all like a pole of sorts. Like they've just like legs on neck.
like 3 kids in a trench coat.
Yes, we are a big monster.
I'm a monster now. So then Eris, so they're trying to figure out how Brianne could have pulled this off. Then Eris pulls out this wild card. He has info that the other 3 remaining queens have left the shared palace that Briallen is in. So they all, the big, I think maybe because they're stuck together with the winnowing powers, they have like a collective like palace and this like in a shared space.
yes,
It's like a
like
shared,
a quad.
yeah, like a work, we work.
Oh
is it?
yeah, like a we work.
And so now all of them have scattered to the wind except Briallen. She's living there alone in that palace. And so that's questionable. But Cassian tucks away the strange knowledge Eris has. How does he know that? Eris doesn't divulge in that moment.
All right.
But Vasa thinks that Briallen is ambitious and crazy enough to try to pull this off. And she knows just what powerful being might be willing to help her. Koshki.
Oh.
Her keeper. Koshki of the lake. Koshki who holds Vasa captive. Vasa thinks that this ancient sorcerer would help the human queen as some form of bargain that would help him be released from the lake he's been tricked to being confined to for a millennia.
So it's like he's confined in there, but then he's in control of her.
Yeah, because the queen sold her to him.
Right. So then like how is he even able to like own her if he isn't even in like his own spot?
I think it's like all over this world seems to be different powerful beings from other lands caught, like trapped, like all of the prison people got tricked in there. So I think that he's too powerful for them to kill, but they did some sort of like
binding, like I bind you, Koshki.
He can only stay in that area, but they couldn't like take his powers from him.
Did you ever try to bind someone after the craft?
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah, I definitely used like everything from the craft. I was like, yeah, I should bind them.
I mean, they did draw from like actual
man.
Wiccan and pagan texts and stuff. They did a great job.
Yeah, go listen to the pop history that we did on the craft and get into all the stuff with Menon and like what they actually really went into. And also it's spooky season, so watch the craft.
Yeah, the craft is just so I love that movie so much.
I would never bind you, Natalie.
Well, good, because binding is meant to be it's not meant to be like a bad and ugly and magic. It's not a cursing. It's like protection.
It's protection, yeah.
And it's usually supposed to be done with somebody who, like Nancy, is trying to kill you or like trying to hurt you, and then you bind them from you and themselves, because a lot of times they are self-destructive in the same.
Yes, but I don't think that you're going to go all Nancy on me. I don't think.
No. I wish I had her eyes, though.
Yeah, man, those crazy eyes.
Firuza Balk's eyes are the best eyes. Also, I think they might be similar to what Gwyneth's eyes look like.
Oh, I could see that. Paltrow.
No.
Doubt it, Goop.
No.
More like Noop.
What's that mean?
Like Nope, but it sounds like Goop.
Okay. Got it. Got it. So, they're saying, hey, basically that at the end of this, they draw the conclusion. Briallen and Koshki are behind this somehow.
Okay.
They don't know why. They know, but they know it. They don't know how, but they know it. Cassian has heard enough for the night, and he turns to leave. No farewells uttered. Right as he's reaching the front door, Eris appears in front of him. At first, it seems he's only come to, again, mock Cassian. It's like obsessed much, Eris.
Yeah, just kiss her.
Just kiss. More for being, he thought it was going to be like a bad courtier, but then he stops Cassian. He wants to be a part of whatever the Night Court is looking into on their side. He needs an edge over Briallen and Koshki because he has some bad news. His father, Biron, has pledged his forces to Briallen.
No!
So, not good.
No, it's not good.
A month prior, Biron went to meet with Briallen, and Eris's top soldiers accompanied him. Those very soldiers are now the ones missing. They came back with Biron to the Autumn Court, but they seemed off ever since they went to go visit Briallen. Then they disappeared. So now Cassian has another issue to work through. They need to tend to Biron, but they can't reveal that they know any of this info because it would expose Eris, who is technically their ally. But Eris warns, while still being a prick to Cassian, you better be on your guard because Biron is definitely not above giving over a certain Archeron sister in exchange for power. Here, they are at a bit of a standstill, even through Eris's jabbing and insults and how much Cassian loathes him. They are technically allies, and so it must stay this way for the time being.
This is like a big get. And this is a huge show of who Eris is as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that, like, even though he's still kind of shitty while he does it, he is being as open as he can be, but not to all of them, just to, like, the inner circle.
Yeah, and, you know, Rhys trusts him as much as you can trust somebody who you don't really like, but they do think that he is being genuine in what he's saying he wants from them. So, Chapter 8, and we're back to Nesta on the hunt for the smile juice. Remember, if you recall, she had finally gotten to the House of Wind stairs, and she said, I'm getting me some wine.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, at the beginning of Chapter 8, this is where she is, standing at the top. She sees a steep, narrow stairwell of foot-high steps winding into the darkness below, completely enclosed, except for the periodic slitted window to offer fresh air.
Also, foot-high steps.
Yeah, I was trying to gauge. So, like, that's pretty high for steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, oh, God. Think of how great, again, your ass would look at the end of it, though.
Woo.
10,000 steps. She was no longer human. This high fae body could do it. She could do it. She couldn't do it.
She struggles down 111 steps before vertigo takes over. Only 111. In her sickness and in the silence, all of the circular thoughts and anxieties come spinning through her head just like the vertigo is coming through. And they come rushing to the front. She hears her father's last words, her pleas to the king, the snap of her father's neck. She tries to go down one more step and her body wobbles. Resigned, she begins to make the ascension back up.
Ugh.
It's not an easy go. She crawls the last 30. She's covered in sweat, her fae body so strong and yet so weakened by her own actions. Its lack of food, nourishment, and even joy. Okay.
I've never been there.
No. No. Okay, so I looked up the Astoria column in the Paris catacombs because, again, this is the two references we had for the spiral staircases. And we said last time 7,500 Astoria columns are how many stairs there are. So, Jackie, I looked. The Astoria column has 164 steps.
That's it?
So you would have made it farther than Nesta that first time if we're going down.
Whoa. I mean, they weren't foot-high long steps, but they were in very tight circles, though, so that makes you very disoriented.
Yeah, I say take the W on that one.
All right, thank you. All right. I win.
The Paris catacomb steps, the main ones, there's probably many because it's the city-wide catacombs. But they have one main one for the tourists. It's 131 steps going down and 112 steps to climb up. So I also would have gotten a little bit further.
Yeah.
But look at these staircases.
I can.
I can. That's just a cheers.
Yeah, it's a cheers.
That's just a
You
cheers.
can say hi can if you want to start saying hi can if you want.
Okay. Look at these are the catacomb stairs, Jackie, up the top two.
Oh, yeah, very similar to the Astoria column.
This is the Astoria column.
Whoa.
So yeah, winding the way that both of them like are enclosed in the same way too as they describe the steps. So it was just like we are like her.
Oh my God, we're just like Faye. We're just the Faye Bays.
Well, Nesta's pissed. So she cuts to the top of the stairs. She's like crawling. It's humiliating. She looks up and Cassian's just there leaning against the wall, staring at her and smiling. She's so mad. She's like, what's the point of this damned body if it doesn't work? It's like, girl,
you're not taking care of yourself.
You did it.
Yeah. And also you still have a body that runs on, like, I know you run on magic, but you also need to eat.
Run on Duncan.
When was the last, and run on Duncan, be a little Ben Aff, but don't get a phoenix tattooed all over your back. But I will say that, like, yeah, you gotta drink water, you gotta eat food, your body still needs to run. You don't run on magic.
Right. So, You know, she's kind of mad at herself. She's mad at Cassian. She's mad at everybody in this moment. But in her thoughts, she does admit to herself in this moment that she's taken to the ears. She likes them now.
Aww.
But she's miserable in this moment. She hates her life. She hates everything. Finally, she sees the bottom of the door coming into her sight.
Fingers digging into the steps hard enough for the tips to bark in pain. She dragged herself up the last few, slithering on her belly onto the hallway floor, and arrived face first in front of Cassian, smirking as he leaned against the adjacent wall.
You son of a very nice cleaning lady.
Yes.
We cut to Cassian's POV from this same moment. He first reflects on how, though he's facing her now, or I guess standing over her, he needed time before he could see her again today, and had reported to Rhys about the goings-on with the Band of Exiles before he made his way back up to the House of Wind and all the updates from Eris. So he still has feelings about how she embarrassed him in Windhaven. Now Cassian, when he went to go report to Rhys, is now tasked with another bullshit order to keep a close watch on Eris. So he's in all kinds of a mood.
Well, and especially he was made to look a fool when he was training Nesta. He was made to look a fool when he was going and being a courtier in front of other people.
He was called a lowborn bastard essentially again and again.
Yes, again and again. I just feel no wonder I'd be I can't believe he's still going. I'd be I need a bigger break than this. Give me a week off.
Well, that's why he had to go sit at the cliff and throw rocks over the edge.
I get it. It must have been love.
Must have been love.
But it's over now.
He tried to object to all this new stuff, but Rhys is reason with him, and he doesn't really have he has to do what Rhys has. Anyway, he chose to stay and have dinner with the others before making his way back to Nesta. So he's had dinner at the river house. He's I can't deal with Nesta right now. And as he gets up there, he finds the stairs door open. And instead of being worried she'd escaped, he knew the shape she was in more in a quick return. So he's just finally, something good has happened today.
It had been worth it.
So he had been gleefully awaiting this, just waiting outside of the open door, sensing her return. And now seeing her kind of crawling on her belly was well, this is what you get.
Yep.
And now I feel a lot better today.
Yep.
So Nesta growls, seeing that he's here to witness how pitiful she looks. She tells him that whoever designed the stairs was a monster. Cassian smirks and tells her a story about how he and Rhys and Az had been forced to climb the stairs as punishment for something to do with being young and stupid and testing boundaries with a high lord who didn't understand practical jokes regarding public nudity.
I want to hear more about this story.
No, they were children.
Yeah, I guess it's disgusting.
They were children.
Well, in my head, is children still the age of 50 for them?
No, they still come.
Do they see it as that?
I mean, I think they call them youthful, but they come of age at 17, I think, in the Fae world.
That's so. Don't you think that's a little weird?
I kind of have to. You think you have to put the suspension of disbelief of being the way their world works is that you're just a kid for a brief moment in time, and then you're just an adult, and you have adult mentality.
I guess that is for the best because in this world, I wouldn't want to be a kid for 70 years.
No.
Because then it's I won't grow up. You say I won't grow up, I won't go to school, but then as an adult, you don't have to go to school anymore.
Right. Being an adult is way better than being a kid.
I just remember there was a kid on the train once, and he kept sticking his tongue out at me, and then he came over and he just he held the bar as I was sitting down on the subway, and he kicked me in the foot, and I was just I didn't know what to say, and all I said was, "Yeah, well, I can eat candy for dinner." That was the first, just hung over on the train. That's all I could think to say to the child that kicked me in the foot.
It's a perfect response. Yeah, well, you have to be a stupid kid.
Yeah,
your life
stupid
sucks.
kid. You can't eat candy anytime you want. I can go buy candy whenever I want.
And you're not going to get any of it.
None.
That's so fun. Great response, Jackie.
Thank you. Yeah, I felt I was being childish, but I appreciate that.
Did the kid say anything?
No. No, and then I got off got off at the next stop, and it wasn't my stop, and I was just did I just get intimidated by a child?
You just got into a flame war with a little boy.
Yeah, man, and I lost.
No, I think you won.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he goes on to tell this story that he puked on Az, who puked on Reese, who puked on himself. And then while they made their ascent back up through the puke, it smelled so bad in the heat inside of the staircase that they puked again going through it. And so it's a very funny, reminiscing story. And he thinks he catches Nesta's mouth trying to turn into a smile. Those rusty ends of her mouth trying to turn up. He asks her what step she made it to, and she's surprisingly honest, 111. He calls her pathetic, but in a jokey kind of way. Nesta's still sprawled on the floor, and she tells him that she was trying to get wine because the house wouldn't give her any. I figured that would be the only motivator to make you risk 10,000 stairs. She glares at him, but it's not very menacing because he guesses correctly that she cannot get up. She responds with such a 60s movie body woman response. Go fly into a boulder.
Go fly into a boulder. I just imagine her becoming Katharine Hepburn in Lion in Winter.
Yeah.
Get out of my face,
go
scallywag.
Oh, you go fly into a boulder, won't you? So this next little passage, Jackie, you just read it.
Cassian pushed off the wall and reached her in 3 strides. He wrapped his hands under her arms and hauled her up.
I guess it's not that weird, but I find that a very sexy, visual.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the arrogance of leaning back and how smoothly he reaches forward and just picks her up.
Yeah.
It's that sort of arrogant, leaning, and he just pushes off the wall and just I'm getting you up.
Mm-hmm.
And we get another
comes and saves her.
Yeah, but in a very nonchalant way. I don't know why I find that very sexy.
I get it.
He in another classic sexual tension move, he has to keep holding her up to keep her standing in that moment. So now they have that moment of being very close face to face.
Oh gosh, they're touching.
For just a moment, you can probably visualize that long held stare, and then he steps away.
Oh, the touch of a crush. What it does to you.
He teases her for another moment, and then Amren's words ring back to him. Keep reaching out your hand. So at this moment in his thoughts, he hears that and does what he thinks is right in that moment. He doesn't badger her or push her further. He says, if you don't want to be so pathetic, come to training and actually learn tomorrow. And then he walks away and goes to his room.
I mean, he ain't wrong, girl.
Right, because then he's not arguing with her. He's not trying to force her hand. He's saying,
and not shaming her for going down to go get booze. Which is I do find that very interesting that in this moment, it could have been very easy for him to really harp on the fact that
right.
I know that he even jokingly says you're pathetic, but it's just
in more of a coach way.
Yes.
Where you can't even get up. You got to work your thighs, man. You got your quads.
Yeah.
You're out of shape.
Yeah, get some squats going.
Yeah. So I can look at your butt in those tight pants.
With those leggings.
So we cut to the next morning, and Nesta's sitting at the breakfast table, having gotten there extra early. She knows how much she had to struggle to get herself dressed due to the pain in her legs.
Oh.
And she wasn't going to let Cassian see her limping into the dining room.
Reminds me of when I wrote you ever read my brain just stopped. You ever get on a bull?
Like a mechanical bull?
A mechanical bull?
Yes. Not a real one.
No, not a real one. I know, never a real one. I just remember I couldn't walk for days because your thighs have to grip so hard, and I've only done it twice, and both times I just walked like a cartoon cowboy.
I mean, it's not, the cowboy legs aren't a joke. That definitely happens when you ride horses and shit like that.
Yeah, because you're coming all the time. Right?
Yeah,
because they all coming all the time.
Yeah, you're constantly just being stimulated.
I've heard this from horse girls, and you just coming all the time. I don't think that's actually true, but in my brain, that's the only way you would get me on a horse. I'm am I going to be, well, I don't want to be coming on a horse either.
Ew.
I don't want to be on a horse.
No.
I'm very scared of horses.
Oh, they're so fun.
I respect horses.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
They're just so big.
Yeah. I don't think of them sexually, but I love riding a horse.
Yeah.
in case anybody forgets, one of the mechanical bull's experiences was just a giant penis instead of a bull for Jackie.
It was just a giant penis, and there was nothing to grip onto, and that was very difficult. It was like sliding all about.
Yeah.
And they love it when the ladies slide all about.
I mean, I think that is the point of it being a big penis.
Yeah, I'm thinking. So I just kept sliding up to the shaft.
Looks
and then
like you're
sliding
jerking it
back
off.
down to the balls. Yeah, so I'm just... Oh my God, it did look like I was jerking it off.
Like a giant. You're jerking off a
I
giant.
gotta watch this video now. Am I jerking off that dick?
So she's sitting at the table waiting. Like, she just didn't want Cassian to see it. So she ponders what she's going to do when it's time to get up. She hasn't made a plan for that yet. She was already eating when Cassian struts through the entryway, smirking. The bastard knows, even if she beat him to the table, that she can't get up. She was about to make a biting comment when Azriel appears behind him, who grimace smiles at her.
Azriel was nothing short of beautiful. Even with those scarred hands and the shadows that flowed from him like smoke, she'd always found him to be the prettiest of the three males who called themselves brothers.
Whoa. You can almost see the calculations going on in Nesta's head here. She's already anticipating being mocked by Cassian this morning, and it's just a matter of how she's going to counter. They give their good mornings, and then Nesta turns her attention to Azriel. He asks her how her training is going, and she can feel Cass's glare as she tells them that it's absolutely riveting. Azriel can see that this is a bit of a game, and he smiles as he says that he hopes she's not giving his brother a hard time.
She set down her teacup.
Is that a threat, Shadow Singer?
Cassian took a long drink from his own tea, drained it to the dregs. Azriel said coolly,
I don't need to resort to threats.
The shadows coiled around him, snakes ready to strike. Nesta gave him a smile, holding his stare.
Neither do I.
She leaned back in her chair and said to Cassian, who was frowning at the both of them,
I want to train with him instead.
She could have sworn Cassian went still. Interesting. Azriel coughed into his tea.
So this is... Azriel understands what's going on here.
Oh, yeah.
Cassian is shook, though. He's like, oh, you want to train with Azriel?
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
Cool.
interesting.
And Az is like, oh, the mother, get me out of this room. Get me out of this situation, please.
Poor Az just stuck in the center of the two of them, just like,
But also about to fuck each other.
yeah.
Cass tells her he won't be an easy coach, and she croons, with that pretty face? Az just like stares
Just
into his
staring
food,
into it. Just like, I'm just going to keep eating. I'm not going to pay attention. I'm not a part of this.
Cass does his best to look unruffled, but tells her to go ahead, and she'll have a hard time of it when she can't even get out of the chair. When she shoots out of her chair, she holds back a yelp. He tells her, that didn't count because you mostly used your hands. And she comes back with what? A sexual joke. Girl. I mean, she is dothing protesting too much,
Oh, yes.
methinks. Az is trying not to laugh, but Cass has other ideas.
Cassian's voice dropped an octave.
Is that what those smutty books teach you? That it's only at night?
It took a heartbeat for the words to settle. And she couldn't stop it. The heat that sprang to her face. Her glance at his powerful hands. Even with Azriel now biting his lip to keep from laughing, she couldn't stop herself. Cassian said with a wicked smile.
Could be any time. Dawn's first light, or when I'm bathing, or even after a long, hard day of practice.
And Azriel just staring at his wound. I'm not a part of this. I am not here.
Nesta is having feelings at this,
Oh, yeah?
but of course she could never let them see. So she does her best to strut to the door, biting back the pain, and says in her most unruffled, sounds like you have a lot of time on your hands, Cassian.
All right.
Cut to, you're in deep shit.
Azriel said mildly to him on the chilly veranda as Nesta donned her cloak inside.
So now we're at Cassian's POV right after this breakfast, and he's trying to shake the images that he's just put into his own head.
Yeah, because you got yourself all hard, bro.
But if we're being honest, Nesta started it.
Oh, yeah.
It's In any case, now all he can do is picture Nesta's hand occupied. He's filled with such desire, he almost has to leave the House of Wind.
Poor Azriel having to smell that room, dude, just sitting there trying to eat his breakfast. He's just trying to get his tea in him. He needs the caffeine. Can we not do this in front of him?
He's going to have to smell more pretty soon.
Oh, my God.
Even if he had somehow not gotten that across to Nesta, even if Nesta didn't realize how much she'd affected him, Az knows what the shift in his scent means. Cassian can't stop the thoughts, though, and they are getting progressively dirtier in his mind. Az senses this again and is amused, asking if they need another chaperone up here. We cut to Windhaven, and just like the good male he is, Cassian has moved his thoughts away from sex and back on training, because that's not appropriate.
He is, yes.
Nesta still won't budge, however. Cassian had hoped their rapport would have warmed her up to the idea a little, but he doesn't know about why she really doesn't want to train, of course. So irritated, he tells her to sit there and freeze to death if she wants to, and she's like, fine! Cassian ignores her for the rest of this training, but Amren's words ring out through his head. Keep reaching out your hand. An hour later, Cassian was nice and warmed up from his moving around, but he can see Nesta slowly turning blue with cold. He gives up and tells her to go wait in the house that he and the Bat Boys had grown up in.
It's all of these things when you read a book like this, and I know obviously then it wouldn't progress, and I understand the reasoning for it. But like when you read this kind of stuff, and it's like, if Cassian literally just was like, hey, why don't you want to train? That like if this would like I don't even know if she would open up to him or get Azriel to ask her, you know, like or something. Because she's not opening up to anybody, but like at least asking.
Yeah, I think he was doing it in a different way that didn't work, where he was trying to bring up her dad and all this stuff.
And he's trying to do it like more the boy oafish way.
Right. And I think he was trying to do that but didn't know how to do that, basically. That's my guess. So he tells her to go in this house, and she's almost too stubborn to do it, but thinks better of it when the wind starts blowing on her face. And she follows him into the house. Cassian watches her survey the house. And this house was the closest thing he had to a childhood home. He thinks of it sentimentally as he watches her, about his room upstairs in this home, and every spot and mark made from a memory from his youth. He romantically thinks back to the stain on the couch that he's looking right at, that Reese had accidentally magicked there permanently when he and the other boys got drunk as teens and were trying to clean up their mess.
I love the image of that story of them being like, oh shit, we gotta clean it up. And then you're like, oh no, I made it permanent.
Oh no, oh well, worry about it tomorrow.
And then the next day you wake up to just your mother being like, what the hell happened in here last night? Like,
Yeah, because in that memory, he talks about how they put a pillow over it, which is such a teen boy thing to do. He tells her to sit in here. You know, he's watching her watch this house, and he's thinking back on his childhood memories, and he goes, "Hey, just sit in here while I have some business to attend to." He says it basically like, "Why don't you sit in here since you're so good at sitting?" But she doesn't answer at his little snark.
When she didn't answer, he turned to find Nesta standing in front of the hearth, arms tightly crossed, the flickering light dancing in her beautiful hair. She didn't look up at him.
"What are you looking at?"
he asked. A log on the fire popped, and she flinched. Not in surprise, he noted, but in dread. Fear.
So he's confused by this, but he connects something that even though he doesn't know exactly what's going on there, her thoughts were elsewhere, which we would call PTSD, Earthside.
Yes.
It's enough for him to offer another suggestion. Why doesn't she go look in the shops at Windhaven while he finishes up his Illyrian business? Though she doesn't say anything, she seems amenable to the suggestion. We cut to Nesta at the start of chapter 9, entering a shop. And it's here we meet Emerie! We see through Nesta's observation that this is a sort of clothier, as much as Illyrians would stomach of a clothier. All practicality. And no, just having fun with fashion.
I know, and it's so sad because everyone else gets the fashion. Why don't the Illyrians?
I know, I can't believe I just said fashion instead of fashion.
Yeah,
I'm so
it hurt
ashamed.
my ears, Natalie.
So sorry.
I wanted to throw up everywhere, and I was going to make you walk through the throw up, and then you were going to
throw up, and I would throw up on you.
Yeah, and then everyone's
disgusting.
Gonna be like, why didn't they stop the camera?
I mean, that's You could make some money off of that video. Got to put it behind a paywall.
Right, Emerie.
So she's in this clothier shop. It's like a shop for like the necessities, basically, out there.
A dark-haired female appeared on the other side of the counter, her braided back hair shining in the lights. Her face was striking, elegant and sharp, contrasting with her full mouth. Her angular eyes and light brown skin suggested a heritage from another region, perhaps a recent ancestor from the Dawn Court. The light in those eyes was direct, clear.
The woman who Nesta has yet to be introduced to asks if she can help Nesta. It becomes apparent that Nesta has chosen the shop because she's trying to find ways to stay warm in this hellscape. She wants to know if the store offers anything warmer than the standard leathers. We get an immediate sense that the shopkeeper don't suffer no fools.
Hell no.
In fact, she calls the Illyrian warriors proud fools, which is going to give her some points in Nesta's book.
But it would definitely not for a lot of other people that just
Yes.
walk into your Illyrian shop.
Yes, they would be pretty pissed.
Yes.
So she's not a weak-willed person or a
Hell
cowardly
no.
person.
Hell no.
The shopkeeper analyzes Nesta and ponders whether they could get her leathers fleece-lined. When she asks Nesta how often she trains, Nesta hesitates and then decides to tell her she's just here to watch. The shopkeeper doesn't seem to judge her for this. In fact, seems to understand maybe from a personal point of view that she doesn't really want to be up here in Windhaven. Maybe the shopkeeper can relate. Nesta analyzes her again and notes her simple gown and braid. And then as she is looking her over, her eyes snag on the female's wings. They have long scars running down them, which is unusual in a community whose wings are basically as cherished and protected as their genitals. And as sensitive. Wink. Scars in general were strange in this land because it would take magic or wounds so traumatic it would probably have killed a person for them to have scars to even look at. She sees Nesta observing this. My wings were clipped,
The female said.
My father was a traditional male. He believed females should serve their families and be confined to their homes. I disagreed. He won in the end. Nesta thinks about Rhys's mother, who she learned had had her wings saved in the last moments from her bond with Rhys's dad, if you'll recall. Nesta offers her apologies for all of that happening, but the female attempts to brush it off as if there's nothing to be done, so she doesn't dwell on it. But Nesta can't help but ask if healers can fix them. The shopkeeper says that it's a complex level of healing magic that would only be possible by a powerful healing fae like Thazon. She turns the conversation back to Nesta's inquiry, and Nesta feels a little bit of embarrassment about having been so forward about asking. But I guess it just kind of came out of her. But this shopkeeper wants to turn back to the fleece-lined leather conversation, saying she could probably get it done in a few weeks. Then Nesta realizes she's a poor again. She doesn't have any money. She feels ashamed and begins to explain that actually she's fine. She doesn't need any of that. Not even cold, actually. I'm thinking about it.
No, I'm fine. I don't need anything.
This female seems to know who Nesta is and points out that Rhysand would certainly pay for this. But Nesta, after a moment, decides to tell her the truth. She got cut off.
Man, just see, this is also the beauty sometimes of meeting a stranger that you immediately connect with when there's so much you can't say to the people around you, but all of a sudden you find yourself just spewing secrets towards someone that you're like, why am I telling you this? You don't know. I am the person that has the face. I'm the stranger that people just will tell things to, and then they'll just look at me and they're like, I don't know why I'm telling you this.
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
It's all good, dude.
You're very receptive. I feel
I'll take it.
You're very non-judgmental, and so people sometimes overshare.
Yeah, which I'm totally down with. Let's get into the fucking real shit. Who cares about the weather?
And it's a good thing that you're not a courtier because you're filled with secrets.
Filled with secrets. Not a secret though. No. I don't remember. That's the best part about me.
You don't remember
the second
any of
you
it?
tell me, I don't remember. I don't remember anything. So you can tell me all your traumas. I'm not gonna hold them against you. I'm not gonna be like, oh, but this one time, I'm not gonna remember.
It's a win-win for everyone.
Right? Wendy.
Win-windy. The female asks why she's cut off, but Nesta's not quite ready to talk about that. The shopkeeper doesn't seem to mind and says she'll check on the fleece-lined leathers anyway, even if Rizan doesn't want her to. Nesta bluntly tells the female that she imagines Rhys would probably prefer if Cassian just threw her off a cliff and be done with it.
Aww.
And like how all misanthropes find each other and become friends, Emerie takes that moment to introduce herself formally to Nesta. She's like, you're got dark humor? People want you to die?
Yeah.
Sounds like my kind of gal.
Hell yeah. You got trauma. I got trauma. Hell yeah. Let's be friends.
Nesta then also introduces herself, but Emerie knows who she is. She remarks, not asks, that Nesta killed the King of Highburn. And when Nesta concurs, Emerie says, good. They exchange a few more words before Nesta leaves. And as she's exiting the shop, she seems to be almost shocked that she just had an amicable conversation with somebody.
Oh my God, is it possible?
Is it
Is
possible?
she maybe starting to unfreeze a little bit? I don't know.
Maybe she just had to find her people.
And also maybe she just needed to dry out for a while.
Well, probably that helps.
I'm sure it helps.
But also
to not
just
have
like,
a headache every day. As someone that used to be drunk every single day, you think about like, it's like, man, I'm drunk. Like I get drunk every night because I feel like shit every day. It's like, you feel like shit every day because you're getting hammered every night. And isn't that insane that your brain doesn't like let you in on that secret until it's like, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I feel great all the time. You know why? Because I ain't drinking every day.
Well, it's the vicious cycle of you made yourself feel sick to the point where the only thing that would make you feel better is to be out of your mind again.
Get sick again.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but yeah. And also I think she's doing these things, regardless of whether or not she really wanted to do this, was kind of forced a little bit. It gives her a sense of purpose to help in the library, to start having conversations with people. Like it makes her feel like she maybe almost is worth like something.
Yes.
So she's just like, oh, I had a almost friendly conversation. Then we cut to Nesta back in her afternoon duties at the library. She got her fur a little ruffled as she reflects on how Cassian had been distracted after she found him. So whenever he got his business done, she left the shop. He picks her up, and he's not really paying any attention to her, probably because something was going on in the Illyrian camps. And after Moore had come and winnowed them both back to the House of Wind, Cassian, without really saying goodbye, scoops Moore up in his arms and shoots them both into the sky.
It shouldn't have bothered her, seeing him flying away with another female in his arms. Some small part of her knew it wasn't remotely fair to feel that body-tightening irritation at the sight. She had pushed him away again, and he had no reason to believe she'd wish it differently. And she knew he had a history with Morrigan, that they'd been lovers long ago.
Look at her admitting something to herself.
Good for you. And also, I think lovers is a strong word to use. But
it's very human and prudish.
It really is. Which is, remembering how she was raised. She, even, making, sexual comments towards someone, that is not how she was raised. That's all, new, being around them. This is all new things that she's finding out for herself. But good for her.
Good for her.
Throw good for her on there.
It's almost as if her admission of something shameful to Emerie, the shopkeeper earlier, had let a little crack into her iron walls. It's like this is the most blunt she's been with herself, even in her mind so far.
Yeah.
She's brought out of her thoughts by the note. She's standing in front of Clotho at the moment, and Clotho pushes a note forward towards her. She's to shelve on level 5 for her afternoon duties. And Nesta realizes that's awfully close to the dark center at the bottom of the spiral ramp around the library. That makes her a little nervous. When she asks Clotho about whether Bryaxis had ever returned, just out of curiosity, Clotho seems to understand that Nesta is scared and replies that Bryaxis has never harmed any of the priestesses in the library. Clotho goes on to say she thinks it's because the creature knew that they already lived through their worst nightmares and thus left them alone.
Man, Clotho just breaks my fucking heart.
Oh, no.
And I feel like it's one of those things that I kind of forget about Rhys, that the fact that Rhys gave them a place to feel safe in, that also just makes me melt.
Yeah, it makes me have some sort of liquid feelings.
Yes.
Certainly. But she also goes on to write that she can move Nesta higher if she'd liked. But no, Nesta says she'll manage.
The book's got to go back at some point. Also, who's taking out all these books? Are they just doing their researches?
I think it is just the priestesses are
Yeah.
like taking them out, using them for
Man,
things.
just ripping through those books every day. Good for them.
Scholars.
Yeah.
An hour later after this, she sits down for a break, and it appears that the house has followed her down here, or the library is still the house or something. I don't know how sentient houses work, but it's there with her.
Can we have that, please?
No, we decided this is bad for us.
I
if we have it.
know.
We decided already.
I know we decided, but can't I just keep asking?
You can keep asking your place all you want.
Yeah,
You can
I'll talk
try.
to the. Oh, I talk to the walls constantly, and the day they talk back, I will let you know.
Please.
Because I think that means I need to be put
Yeah.
somewhere.
That's fine. Take a nice vacation.
I need to go on a vacation from my problems.
Have you tried asking the walls for stuff yet, though?
No, I haven't, but I've stared at them longingly, hoping.
Ask and see what happens.
All right, I'll try it today.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
If they start talking back and I've wasted so much time not talking to the walls of my house, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, that's what that'll be. But again, you should probably let me know.
If it works, I don't think you're ever gonna see me ever again.
I think we will, because we will have to
Chuck me out of there.
We'll have to put you in a hospital.
Hear the walls, they sing me to sleep. I hear the
They bring me
walls.
stew.
It's just me ripping up paper and just eating paper. It's
It's stew. The walls bought it for me. So yeah, the house is with her down here, and anyway, she had passed on lunch earlier when the house tried to give it to her at lunchtime, and it seems the house wants to make sure Nesta gets something to eat and drops down some pork and beans.
Pork and beans.
When I wrote this, a specter of a memory of this B-side in living color sketch Jim Carrey does came out of my mouth. I didn't even know I remembered this character, but it was as I was writing it, it just came because the character goes, pork and beans! And it's just like a Jim Carrey sketch that nobody would even remember.
Well, you were obsessed with Jim Carrey.
I didn't even know I remembered it. That's, I guess, where the algebra would have gone.
Pork and beans. Yeah, who needs algebra? Think about pork and beans.
Well, Nesta doesn't want to eat and lets the house know. The house only responds by putting a glass of water next to the bowl of soup it just laid down for her. She says, "This is absolutely none of your business." Nesta's full on having an audible conversation with the air.
I love it.
When a priestess pops up behind her. "Who are you talking to?" It startles her, and she goes to gesture to the soup and water, but it's already been taken away. It's like the house is fucking with her, but she also deserves it.
Yes.
She looks up at this priestess who's just witnessed her acting foolish.
Her hood was thrown back, and Faylight danced in the rich coppery chestnut of her pin-straight hair. Her large teal eyes were as clear and depthless as the stone usually atop a priestess's hood, and a scattering of freckles lay across her nose and cheeks, as if someone had tossed them with a careless hand. She was young, almost cultish. Oh, with her slender, elegant limbs. I'm scared of your limbs! High fae, and yet Nesta couldn't explain the way she sensed that there was something else mixed into her. Some secret beneath the pretty face. What do you have in there? Oh, shake it out of you, damn it!
Nesta shrugs
Also,
up.
teal eyes make me melt.
It just makes me think of Teal Swan, which is... you can listen to my other podcast someplace.
I'm
you
going
want
to guess it's very different than...
It's not great.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking of teal eyes, though, and how beautiful
Well,
you would look
she's
with teal eyes, Natalie.
She's named Teal Swan because her eyes are teal colored.
Ah, gotcha.
So she shrugs off the embarrassment at the priestess seeing her speaking to the air, and the priestess asks if she's already done for the day since she's sitting down after an hour. "Excuse me, ma'am?" So this priestess is a little spicy.
Oh, you just sitting down? You just not doing your work?
So Nesta responds, "I didn't realize anyone was timing me."
Oh, bitchy response.
She puts on her best "get the fuck away from me" voice, but this priestess is unaffected.
Hell yeah.
"Here, these books are ready to be shelved." Nesta replies, "I don't answer to acolytes."
The priestess drew up to her full height, which was slightly taller than average for Fae females. A crackling sort of energy buzzed around her, and Nesta's power grumbled in answer.
Nesta throws out some more barbs, but this priestess is not only unperturbed, she seems on the edge of amusement by Nesta's cold demeanor. Nesta is irritated by this further. She wants to know the priestess's name so she can go and speak to her manager later.
The priestess's eyes glittered with amusement, as if aware of Nesta's plan.
Gwyneth Berdara.
Unusual for these Fae to use family names. Even Rhys didn't use one, as far as Nesta knew.
But most call me Gwen. Nesta studies this Fae female further as they exchange words and maybe doesn't admit it, but she's intrigued by her. Gwen asks her again if she's going to shelve these books or not, and finally Nesta snaps that she'll do it. She looks over Gwen again and notes that whatever happened to her is not present on her physically. Just the thought of what she may have gone through softens Nesta's voice just a little.
Thank you, Nesta.
But Gwen senses it and she's annoyed. She bristles.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need your pity.
Fuck yeah.
Gwen knows after the 2 years she's been here how someone's voice changes into sort of a coddling little precious baby voice when they realize she's been through something. She tells Nesta that she just wants to be treated like a person. And Nesta tells her she probably wouldn't want her to speak as she does to most people. Gwen, again, gets amused by this and challenges her.
Nesta looked at her from under lowered brows again.
Get out of my sight. This makes Gwen grin, and she tells Nesta, oh, you're very good. I guess at being a bitch.
Yeah, which, I mean, bitch recognizes bitch, man. Yeah. I love it.
Totally. Then she disappears into the aisles, and Nesta is sort of taken aback because that kind of, the interaction just was like almost on the level of friendly again, and then the Fae just disappears. She's like, did that just happen? She's had 2 conversations with 2 separate people that bordered on friendly today.
This is a big thing for her.
I wonder if we'll see those 2 again.
Maybe.
If you've read our prompt from the last episode, you know that at the very least, Gwen is returning.
Yes.
The chapter ends with Nesta at the end of her day in front of Clotho sniping that Gwyneth has been bossing her around. But it's not with real bite in her tone, I think. It's that sort of goth girl armor where it's almost more representative of pain and wanting to shield herself because she actually likes somebody.
Ouch.
So and in this moment, it's almost like she's bringing up Gwen so Clotho will be like, I think that's a friend, Nesta.
Yeah. But Clotho, she don't care.
Well, I think actually she does. I think she's sort of looking, and I think Clotho knows this, that Nesta's sort of looking to Clotho for help without knowing how to ask. Clotho writes back to Nesta that Gwen has a very demanding task dealing with a scholar in their ranks whose name is Meryl. Nesta starts to argue, but Clotho writes that if she's having a problem with Gwen, she should speak to Gwen directly.
Nesta bristled.
I did. She's a piece of work.
Writing. Some might say the same of you. Nesta crossed her arms.
Some might. So,
Nesta, you know you being a bee.
She thinks that Clotho might be smiling under her robe. I wonder if we'll ever get a reveal of Clotho. Like, what if it's been some undercover cop this whole time?
Leslie Nielsen! Oh, man, what if it was Leslie Nielsen?
That'd be so awesome.
That's where he went.
Clotho asks Nesta to give Gwen a chance, and Nesta kind of half agrees too. She gets back up to the House of Wind, and now she's friggin' starving because she's denied the house the food that the house keeps bringing her. And now she's sort of like, man, I'm really hungry, even though I've just already yelled at the house a bunch of times today. She makes a beeline for the private library near her bedroom, and she describes feeling her tension release as soon as she gets into that room. A subtle way for us to know that she's anxious all day, and this space soothes her.
Can you imagine how little you would want to get done in your everyday if you had a private library right next to your bedroom? I really would never leave the house. If the house was sentient and I had my own private library there, I'd never leave the fucking house.
I love that move in my own private library. That was a terrible joke. My own private Idaho.
Oh, I never saw that movie. It's sad, right?
I wish that I hadn't said it.
Well, you said it. Now we're talking about my own private Idaho.
If I lived in the House of Wind, why would you do anything else?
I don't know. I think that's what maybe I shouldn't ask my walls for anything later, just so that I make sure I don't ruin the rest of my life.
Wait, why would you ruin your life?
Because if my house is sentient, I'm not going to leave ever again.
Right,
You're going to put me in the padded room.
Right. But
How comfy would it be to live
in the House of
padded
Wind,
room?
in the padded room?
Yeah.
So she's in this space that feels very much like a sanctuary for her. She tentatively speaks to the house again. I'm sure you won't do it now, but I would like that soup. Nothing happens, and she sighs. Please. Immediately, the soup returns.
Interesting how manners can get you very far.
Look at that. Nesta's just letting out a sigh of relief when the house starts a fire in the fireplace. No fire, she says with a panic in her voice.
Ugh.
The house doesn't push, and as it defires the fireplace?
Extinguishes?
Extinguishes. That's a real word.
But defires works. I mean, I got it. I use context clues.
Thank you. So as it does that, a plate of fresh bread plops down next to the soup. Nesta says, "Thank you." And the lights flicker like the house is saying, "You're welcome."
You're welcome. I will not eat you in your sleep.
Yeah, I don't know how the house sounds. I actually think it's probably much more feminine sounding.
Yeah, with how much
You're
it's taking care of it. Yeah, more ethereal.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's it. Oh, what a soothing voice. You know what? No fire no more. Oh, the soothing sounds of the home.
That's it.
That's great.
Yep.
I'm so excited to get to
the next chapters are delicious.
They're delicious, and also like Gwyn and Emerie are both such great characters that to introduce it's crazy to me going back through these books that I'm like, man, we don't meet them until the 5th book. There's such a big, they are an important part of this book, and you like them so I hope you like them the way that I love them. I just forgot that they weren't introduced till the 5th book.
It's true, but since this book is such a thick one, it does feel like you get a lot of them.
Yes.
You know? So let's. I'm gonna take this wig off.
All right.
It's hurting.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Bye.